I woke up to a world that felt wrong. Not wrong like I'd overslept or missed an alarm. Wrong like the universe had shifted overnight, like someone had flipped a switch while I slept. My room looked the same, familiar posters on the wall, my desk cluttered as always, but something was off. The air felt heavier, the colors sharper, the sunlight warmer, almost artificial. I tried to stretch, but my arms didn't feel like mine. They were smaller, delicate, and light in a way that was unsettling. My chest felt different, my shirt didn't fit the same way my body wasn't mine. Panic gripped me, a sudden rush of adrenaline that made my stomach twist. I scrambled toward the mirror. The reflection that stared back at me was impossible. My eyes were wider, my cheeks softer, lips fuller, skin smoother. The face staring back was almost perfect, framed by soft curls that I didn't remember growing overnight. My jawline delicate. My shoulders narrower. My hands smaller, fingers delicate. I froze, unable to process. My reflection looked like my crush. My crush, the girl I'd admired from afar for months, the one I'd never dared speak to about my feelings, looked back at me from my own body. But it wasn't a dream. I pinched my arm hard. Pain. Real. What the? I whispered, my voice faltering. It was higher, delicate, musical. Alien. My own voice had abandoned me, replaced with something soft, trembling, almost feminine. The room seemed to close in. I felt dizzy, my legs trembling. I stumbled back, clutching the dresser for support. And then I noticed it, an outfit laid neatly on my bed, pastel pink frilly, adorned with ribbons and lace. A tiny dress. A skirt. Delicate shoes beside it. I swallowed hard. My crush. I was wearing these now. And judging by the tags and little notes, Jason. Wait, no. Not Jason this time. No prank. No joke. This wasn't some cruel trick. This was reality, or whatever this had become. The door creaked. I jumped. My crush, stepped in. Her presence was calm, confident, and terrifying all at once. She smiled, tilting her head, as if she had been waiting for me to notice. Good morning, she said, her voice soft, playful. Did you sleep well? I tried to answer, but my voice caught. Hi, delicate, fragile. What's happening? She laughed lightly, a sound that made my stomach twist. Relax. You woke up as my doll. It's permanent, at least for today. Permanent. That word hit harder than a punch. Panic and disbelief collided in my chest. My mind raced. I tried to stand, but the body beneath me felt foreign, fragile. I stumbled, nearly falling over the edge of the bed. She came closer, guiding me gently by the shoulders. Easy there. You'll get used to it. Trust me. It's fun once you embrace it. Embrace it. The thought made me shiver, not from excitement but fear. I had been transformed. Woke up as a doll-like version of my crush. My body, my voice, my movements, not mine. And yet, I couldn't tear my eyes away from the mirror. The reflection fascinated me. Every curl, every eyelash, every delicate curve seemed almost too perfect, too surreal. I tried to look away, but I couldn't. I was mesmerized, trapped between terror and curiosity. I touched my face, the soft skin, the delicate lips. My fingers trembled. This isn't real, I whispered. But the reflection didn't lie. It stared back, unflinching, alive. My crush's image, my new form, was undeniable. She guided me toward the outfit. Time to get dressed. You'll need it for activities today. Activities. The word made my stomach churn. I obeyed, mechanically picking up the pastel skirt and top. Sliding into the outfit felt foreign, yet intimate. The fabric hugged my new curves, soft and delicate. Shoes clicked softly against the floor, tiny and fragile. I caught a glimpse in the mirror. I didn't just look different, I felt different. My posture changed naturally, my movements became smaller, precise, almost fragile. And somewhere deep inside, I realized that I could no longer control this body the way I had before. She smiled. Beautiful, isn't it? I couldn't speak. Couldn't respond. My heart raced, cheeks burning, fingers trembling. This wasn't just a prank or a dream. This was real. I was her. My crush's doll. And the day hadn't even started. The moment I stepped out of my room, the world seemed sharper, brighter, louder. Every sound, every movement felt magnified. My new body, my delicate form, made me hyper-aware of every glance, every whisper, every step. I tried to walk normally, but even the gentle sway of my hips in the pastel skirt felt exaggerated, impossible to hide. My crush's doll-like features weren't just in my reflection. They seemed to radiate outward, drawing attention like a magnet. At breakfast, my family noticed immediately. "Wow, you look different," my sibling said, eyes wide, voice tinged with curiosity and barely hidden amusement. I froze, spoon in hand, cheeks burning. I feel different," I mumbled, my high, delicate voice betraying me instantly. My crush's presence in the room, she hovered by the counter, watching me like a conductor overseeing her orchestra, made me feel small, exposed, vulnerable. Every movement, every gesture, every blink seemed under scrutiny. By the time I reached school, panic had settled in my chest like a stone. Hallways felt endless. Classrooms felt like arenas. My friends noticed first. "Is that you?" One whispered, pointing subtly at my skirt. Another snickered. "You look like a doll." I tried to force a laugh, to act casual, to walk confidently, but my legs felt wobbly, my voice trembled, my hands clutched my backpack like a lifeline. Every step seemed amplified. The skirt swayed with each movement, drawing more eyes than I could bear. Class was torture. I tried to sit quietly, avoid attention, blend in, but nothing worked. My voice, soft and high-pitched, carried differently. Every question I answered was scrutinized, every comment laughed at, every glance magnified my humiliation. And yet, somewhere beneath the embarrassment, a strange awareness grew. I could feel the attention. Every eye on me, every whisper, every subtle smile directed my way. It was terrifying and intoxicating. During lunch, the cafeteria became a battlefield. Friends whispered, classmates giggled, some openly stared. And then came the ultimate test. A group of students approached, phones out, teasing me about my doll-like appearance. I froze. My mind screamed. My body betrayed me. My voice faltered. "Come on, don't be shy," one said, laughing. "We just want a photo." The surreal part? I found myself complying. Hands trembling, heart racing, I posed, smiled, adjusted my hair. The whispers, the laughter, the camera flashes, they weren't just humiliation. Somehow, they were part of the experience. By the afternoon, I realized something terrifying. My crush's influence over me was total. Every instruction, every glance, every suggestion shaped my movements, my posture, my voice. I wasn't just a student anymore. I was a performance. A living doll. And I hated it. And I didn't. After school, I collapsed in the empty classroom, alone for a few precious minutes. I traced the lines of my skirt, the delicate cuffs of my blouse, the tiny shoes on my feet. My reflection in the window caught my eye, and I nearly didn't recognize myself. The girl staring back at me was fragile, delicate, small. But there was something else there too, a spark, a flicker of awareness, curiosity, and yes, power. Because even as humiliation coursed through me, even as embarrassment burned, I had survived. I had walked through hallways, faced whispers, endured glances, and somehow, endured myself. And I knew this was just the beginning. Finally alone. The quiet of my room felt like a safe bubble, a world where the chaos of the day, the whispers, the stares, the laughter, couldn't touch me. My body still felt foreign, delicate, fragile. My reflection in the mirror was impossible, surreal. A doll version of my crush, framed by soft curls, wide eyes, and lips that were full and soft. I shivered, running my hands over the delicate outfit. The skirt swayed lightly, soft pastel fabric against my new curves. The blouse clung gently, emphasizing my small shoulders, my narrow waist. Shoes clicked softly against the floor as I moved closer to the mirror. And then I saw the box. Jason, or rather my crush, had left a collection of items, a kit for me, lip gloss, blush, mascara, eyeliner, ribbons, clips, tiny accessories. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Each piece felt forbidden, exhilarating. I picked up the lip gloss first, smoothing it across my lips. They looked fuller, softer, delicate in a way I had never imagined. My reflection caught me off guard. "Is this me?" I whispered. My voice, high and melodic, carried a timbre that felt strange and intimate. "Blush next." Carefully, I traced the contours of my cheeks, watching the subtle change, the warmth that spread across my face. It wasn't just color, it was a feeling, an awareness of the soft, delicate version of myself that now existed. Mascara and eyeliner followed. My eyes widened in the mirror as I traced the lashes, darkened the lashes, framed the wide eyes that now seemed almost doll-like. I tilted my head, experimenting with angles, expressions, the way the light caught my eyes. My reflection seemed alive, different, beautiful, fragile, and mesmerizing. I hesitated at first with hair. But curiosity won. I brushed the soft curls, twisted small sections, pinned them with tiny clips. Every adjustment changed the expression, the aura, the energy. Each style revealed another layer of this fragile, delicate, doll-like self. Then came outfits. I tried the various skirts and tops left for me, experimenting with lengths, fabrics, and textures. Every change altered my movements, the sway of my hips, the way my shoulders shifted. I practiced gestures, small steps, delicate turns, soft hand movements, subtle glances. Each one made me more aware, more immersed in this new identity. I experimented with voice. Whispering phrases, soft laughter, playful tones. My voice wavered at first, uncertain, fragile. But gradually, it found a rhythm, a melody that fit this new form. I practiced commands, requests, questions, casual remarks. Each word reshaped my persona, each sound made me more connected to this fragile, delicate, doll-like identity. Hours passed unnoticed. I twirled, posed, experimented with accessories, shifted expressions, adjusted skirts, redid hair, reapplied makeup. Every small victory, posture held, smile perfected, movement fluid, felt electric, intoxicating. I laughed quietly at myself, startled by the sound. Not embarrassed, not nervous, but playful, mischievous, alive. This reflection, this doll version, was mesmerizing, fascinating, and thrilling. By nightfall, I stood before the mirror, fully dressed, fully made up, small accessories in hand, heart racing. I whispered softly, "I think I like her." A shiver ran down my spine, not from fear but anticipation. This private transformation was more than survival, it was exploration, discovery, and empowerment. And I knew this was only the beginning. The next challenge, public exposure, would test me like nothing before. The day had come. The challenge I had feared all week, the public exposure. My crush, watching me with a playful, knowing smile, guided me toward the door. The outfit was perfect, frilly skirt, delicate blouse, tiny shoes. Every detail accentuated my transformation. Every glance in the mirror reminded me of how far I had changed, how fragile and doll-like I now appeared. My legs shook as I stepped outside. The world beyond my room felt impossibly large. Each passerby, every neighbor, even strangers on the street, seemed to notice instantly. Whispers floated on the wind, glances lingered, cameras flashed. I wanted to vanish, to melt into the sidewalk and disappear. My crush held my hand gently, guiding me. "Relax," she said, voice soft, teasing. "It's just a walk. A performance, really. You'll do fine." Fine. I didn't feel fine. My heart raced, stomach twisted, and voice trembled. But I had no choice. The world was watching. At school, the hallways became arenas. Friends, classmates, teachers, all eyes on me. Whispers followed me. Laughter echoed. Phones raised. Every movement amplified, every step exaggerated. I felt like I was walking on a tightrope, each step a test of balance and composure. The first slip came in the cafeteria. My skirt swayed too much, my shoes clipped against the floor. I stumbled slightly. Laughter erupted. My face burned hotter than ever. I wanted to hide, But my crush's gentle grip reminded me to stand tall. And then something shifted. Somewhere between fear and humiliation, I found rhythm. My movements became deliberate, controlled, graceful. I lifted the skirt slightly, adjusted my blouse, held my head high. My voice, soft but confident, carried with clarity. Every glance, every whisper, every laugh was no longer a source of panic. It was an audience I could perform for, manipulate, and even enjoy. Classmates who had mocked me began to pause, stare in fascination. Whispers became murmurs of admiration. Phones still captured my image, but I no longer felt powerless. I was aware of the attention. I could control it, twist it, even command it. By mid-afternoon, the assembly arrived. Every student, every teacher, every curious eye trained on me. The performance, delicate movements, precise gestures, doll-like expressions, was now the culmination of a week's worth of practice, fear, and private experimentation. I stepped onto the stage, tiny shoes clicking against the floor. My crush stood beside me, guiding with subtle cues. I moved through gestures I had practiced endlessly in my room, small spins, delicate hand movements, precise steps. My voice carried in whispers, soft greetings, playful notes. The audience watched in awe, some laughing at first, then falling silent as the grace and control became undeniable. The peak came when I struck a pose at the center of the stage, fully doll-like, fully aware of my presence. I could feel every eye, every camera, every whisper. And in that moment, fear, embarrassment, and exhilaration collided into one. I realized then, I wasn't just surviving exposure anymore. I was commanding it. I had transformed from a victim of circumstances to a performer, a doll, a presence that could evoke awe, curiosity, and even admiration. After the assembly, whispers and glances continued, but now they carried a different energy. Some classmates approached, shy smiles on their faces. You look amazing," one said, eyes wide. Others nodded in subtle acknowledgement. My crush smiled, proud and satisfied. "See? You're perfect," she said softly, her voice a melody of approval. I exhaled, heart racing, mind spinning. The prank, the forced transformation, the public exposure, it had pushed me to limits I never imagined. And yet, in the chaos, in the vulnerability, in the humiliation, I had discovered power, confidence, and a strange thrill of identity fully embraced. Walking home, skirt swaying gently, shoes clicking, I felt a strange sense of liberation. Fear had transformed into control. Embarrassment into awareness. And the doll in the mirror wasn't just a reflection anymore. It was a version of me that was strong, delicate, and undeniably alive. The day finally ended. The chaos, the whispers, the laughter, the stares, they all faded into the quiet of my room. Alone at last, I looked into the mirror. The doll-like version of my crush stared back at me. Soft curls framed her face, delicate eyes wide and bright, lips full and inviting. And yet, beneath the surface, I saw me. I traced the outline of my cheeks, the soft curve of my jaw, the delicate fingers. Each feature was surreal, impossible, yet undeniably part of my reality now. I had survived the public exposure, the ridicule, the humiliation. I had walked through hallways, endured stares, smiled under scrutiny, and come out the other side stronger, more aware, more alive. I smiled softly at my reflection. The fear that had consumed me at the beginning had transformed into something else. Confidence. Awareness. Empowerment. I was fragile, yes, but also in control. My crush entered, her smile warm, knowing, approving. "You did amazing today," she said softly. "You embraced it. Every part of you." I nodded, feeling the truth of her words seep into me. Not just the doll version, the forced persona, the prank victim, but me. The version that could inhabit this delicate, feminine body and still command attention, grace, and curiosity. I experimented one last time that night. Twirling in the skirt, adjusting curls, softening expressions, whispering phrases, laughing softly. Each motion, each gesture, each breath reaffirmed the transformation. Not as punishment, not as humiliation, but as self-discovery. For the first time, I understood the strange thrill that had been simmering under embarrassment and fear. It wasn't just the attention. It wasn't just the vulnerability. It was the freedom. The freedom to explore, to express, to inhabit a version of myself that had always existed, hidden beneath routine, fear, and expectation. The days that followed were different. Friends and classmates slowly adjusted, whispers turning into curious questions, stares softening into admiration. Some called me brave, some playful, some even fascinated. I responded not with embarrassment, but with poise. I had learned to carry myself, to move, to speak, to be in this new body, and it was exhilarating. Every private experiment, every twirl in my room, every playful gesture I had perfected in secrecy became my tools for navigating this new reality. And slowly I realized, the prank, the transformation, the humiliation, they hadn't trapped me. They had freed me. Freed me to explore, to express, to own a part of myself I had never dared acknowledge. One quiet evening, I stood before the mirror, fully dressed in soft pastels, curls framing my face, delicate shoes on my feet, tiny ribbons pinned in place. I smiled at the girl in the reflection. "You're me now," I whispered, voice soft, confident, melodic. "And I like her." My crush entered, her eyes warm, approving. "See? You've embraced her. Fully. Confidently. Beautifully." I laughed softly, feeling the truth of it. Yes, beautiful. Not just in appearance, but in courage, in acceptance, in self-awareness. I had survived fear, embarrassment, exposure. I had discovered curiosity, joy, and power. And I had embraced it fully. The transformation was no longer just a prank or a forced situation. It had become a journey, a revelation, a new chapter. I had been a doll, yes, but now I was me. Complete. Confident. Free. I twirled one last time, feeling the soft sway of the skirt, the gentle weight of my new body, the thrill of ownership over every movement, every glance, every breath. Fear had become empowerment. Embarrassment had become liberation. And the doll in the mirror smiled, not just at me but with me. I knew this was only the beginning. The day I woke up as my crush's doll had started as shock, humiliation, and fear. It ended as self-discovery, acceptance, and confidence. I had learned something crucial: identity isn't just what the world sees. It's what we own, explore, and embrace, even when it terrifies us. And as I stood there, alone yet fully alive, I whispered to my reflection, soft and certain. "This is me. And I'm ready for everything."